What's up, people? Welcome to another episode of I Am Negan, a TWD Universe podcast. My name is Adam Vale. I am an editor over at the Koalition, that's with a K.com, and I'm joined by editor-in-chief of the Koalition, Richard Bailey Jr. What's up, Rich?
What's up, Adam? What's up, listeners and viewers?
Yep. And Throwdown Carlos Romero. What's up, Carlos?
Yo, Mothership's back.
Mothership is back. This is what we've been waiting for, right, everybody? Everybody's been waiting for this. All the people at home that were watching and listening are like, yes, this is what we were waiting for. So, people, if you're watching this, the episode just aired, AMC, you got to see it. You're happy. All your questions have been answered, right? No, has not. But real quick housekeeping, thanks again for all the support over on iTunes and Spotify and, of course, YouTube. Just following us is I Am Negan. We've been getting a lot of follows. No surprise. This is it. This is really what people care about. I don't think they cared about Tales. We covered that. That was garbage. Fear, that's coming back. So we'll see what's up with that. But this is it. This is the one. Yes, we have spin-offs coming, but no, people want to know, how is this going to end? Are all the questions going to be answered? Are all your favorites going to survive? Thankfully, AMC likes to spoil content. So yes, we do know a lot of these characters will survive because they have their own spin-offs. You know, we have the Daryl and not Carol, the Daryl and question mark spinoff, which he's already off in France filming. And we know Negan and Maggie have their spinoff coming. So, and then what was it? It was also confirmed with Rick and Michonne having their own.
Rick and Michonne, that's one that could be kind of ambiguous because it could be a show of during the time when they're actually gone. So it's like, oh, what were they doing during the hiatus? So it could be that, or it could be post Walking Dead proper. We'll see.
Yeah, we will see about that. So, quick thank you for everybody that's been supporting us and viewing us through all these years of covering Walking Dead, because that's it. That's what we're covering on this show. That's it. No other surprises. One little thing: don't see the Monsters movie by Rob Zombie. Oh boy, that was so bad, bad. They just had to throw that in as a disclaimer because man, I was like, oh boy. All right. So this is for the last part. Like we mentioned, this is the last chunk of episodes for the Walking Dead Mothership. This is for episode 17, Lockdown. All right. So for those, if you haven't seen it and you're worried, I didn't see it, go take a look at your DVR, watch it, and come back after. Or you can go on AMC Plus. It's available there, and you can check it out. But for everybody that I'm hoping that is tuning in over on YouTube and on other services, you've already watched it, so you're not going to be surprised by this. All right, 3, 2, 1. Let's get into it. We'll break it up into parts. We'll like we usually do. So we'll cover, let's say, the Maggie and Hornsby and Daryl. We'll cover that whole story arc, and then we'll jump to the Commonwealth. All right. So, well, because pretty much the episode started with the Daryl and the Hornsby and all that stuff. So we see that Negan is now part of the group. He joins up and everyone's happy. Well, not really, but they need his help, right? And the plan is they need to take out. Well, Maggie's on a kill streak. She's like, yes, we have to kill him. We have to kill her. She wants to kill everybody now. So she wants to kill Hornsby. Go ahead.
I do want to interject, Adam.
Do it.
You said no, not everyone was happy. I was surprised. I didn't see Maggie being upset that Negan is there. I don't know if anyone else noticed if she was or not, but I definitely did not see her being upset. So maybe this is a turn for a different type of Maggie.
They have to. Well, they have to do it if they're definitely getting that spinoff where they're running around together fighting running walkers in their own show. So they have to squash the beef, and we sort of saw that at the end of season 16 when they had that little one-on-one talk around the campfire. So they're definitely doing, but I think it's that trust. And we're supposed to not be sure, especially with the whole thing with Daryl. Because remember, Daryl got tortured. Negan tortured him and locked him away for a long time. It was crazy for a while with him. So, but you were going to say something, Rich?
Oh, no, I just was going to say that, well, they definitely will have to explain as they get closer to have that spinoff. But it kind of feels like they are foreshadowing that Negan's wife is not going to make it out of this season. But I would like to see how. Too. Yeah, because I mean they have to explain that because But we'll see what happens.
Yeah. We got the wife. I think she went off with Father Gabriel, right? Because they break up in 2 parts. two groups, and I think Aaron was also part of that group.
Yep.
Trying to remember, there was Aaron in that group
Yeah.
also, and the whole point is that they are getting hunted down by Hornsby and his troopers, and so they're just flanking around and trying to come up with different distractions. Now, one of the cool things that we saw here, which I was surprised, is Negan bust out the Skinwalker mask. He had a whisper. I wasn't expecting that. I was like, is it the same one that he's been wearing? That he wore early on when he was part of the Whispers for that short time? I don't know. Or does he carry it in his back pocket? It must smell horrible. Either way, he had it with him. And there's a part where I you would think after all these years, with like the 11 years of watching this show, I can get over. But these walkers are slow. Okay, they're moving slow, and then you see these troopers shooting. Oh no, they're surrounding us. You have guns. You have legs. You can run backwards.
Yeah,
And they still get flanked from us. I was like, you come on now.
I know it's a trivial part of the show at this point, but it's like,
yeah.
come on, do the Steph Curry step back or something.
Mm-hmm.
You can dodge him.
It's like as if everybody has blinders and tunnel vision. They're just looking forward. They're like, wait, could there be someone on my right? Oh my God! It's like, just that's it. Two teams of groups of like 3 guys forward, 2 guys to the left. I mean, to the left and to the right. Cover your bases. That's all I'm saying. So you don't get flanked. But it's funny anyway. They're getting attacked and they're getting eaten up, and then we see one creeping behind one of the troopers and takes him out. And sure enough, it's a boy Negan. He has the Skinwalker mask, which is funny that he has it on for a few seconds and then he takes it off. Keep it on. That would have been great. Take it off for the next scene when we see he's in the car. I think that would have been cool just to see like a walker drive.
Yeah, but I will say this: if Negan keeps the mask on and then they see a walker driving a car, then they'll know to suspect it in the future. So from a tactical perspective, I'm fine with that.
But he didn't want to, because remember the whole thing of him getting into the car. His part was, we're going to send you to the Commonwealth. Here's the message I need you to tell Mercer, right, which is what's going on with Hornsby. Because that's the thing. It's like Governor Milton doesn't know that Hornsby is doing all this stuff, causing chaos. And the first time I think we've heard this term, the wastelands, right? Because that's what Negan called it when he talked to Mercer. The wastelands. So the word gets around. And I like that. Let's stick with that. So out in the wastelands. So the plan is, Negan, you relay this message, let Mercer know Hornsby is out for himself and he's causing chaos out here and needs to be stopped. And this is what's going on. So the reason why he's in Negan is because they don't know what Negan looks like. He wasn't part of that initial group. He can bypass all the other stuff. So that's why I'm thinking just keep the skin mask on. So even when you're in the car getting the getaway, someone can't just like see a face, and who knows if one of those soldiers makes it back. And it's like, I know him. Like the Warriors did it. The Warriors it was Negan. So we don't get one of those. But anyway, we get our first car chase, right? I think this is the first in the franchise that we've seen. I don't recall ever seeing a car chase like this. I've seen cars just taking off to leave a location, but never really get chased like this. So Negan gets in the car.
We had a trailer chase in Tails, remember?
Oh yeah. We had a trailer chase. Right? So Negan kills this guy. He kicks the gun off to the side, and we see why. Right, because we got Daryl over there. He picks up the gun and the clip, boom, 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 and now he's providing cover fire for Negan to get out of the area. Another SUV of troopers starts chasing after him, and here's your car chase, zipping around through the streets and doing all this stuff, and he's dodging and weaving. Eventually, his troopers don't really know how to drive, and they get into an accident. Like, we haven't done this in so long. There's no highways. We don't go anywhere. And so they get into an accident, and so now he's home free. All right. So before I go any further, what did you guys think of that car chase?
Well, I thought, as far as from an action standpoint, I was very entertained. Daryl did assist him all the way through, because I recall Daryl crashing into them, and that was what prevented them from
that's right. He did. Well, I wasn't sure about that. It was a fast cut because it was cutting back and forth, and we were seeing, he was near a car, but then he was providing cover fire. It looked like he didn't have time to get in the car and to race across town wherever Negan was to intercept.
Remember that when Daryl was getting towards the troopers, he overheard in the radio
Yep.
where exactly they spotted Negan and where they were chasing him. So
Okay.
yeah, so he
All right.
went and like Rich said, he intercepted them. And by the way, I do want to mention before we continue, for a show that's called I Am Negan, this is a perfect Negan episode on my from my
Oh yeah,
perspective.
yeah. This is the best
it
so far.
was.
Yeah. It was pretty much all him, and then it was cool. It was definitely cool, and I think we're not the only ones because hell, he's getting a spinoff, and yeah, Maggie's part of it, but I think it's really going to be Negan. It's really going to be Negan. So we'll see, and who knows? Maybe that'll continue on. I truly think that all these spinoffs that they're trying is not to be one-offs. They're really throwing a bunch of darts at the board and trying to say, well, maybe this will work, maybe that'll work, maybe this, and hopefully one of them does stick. And Gary, you would think, I mean, we got 4 or 5 in the works. One of them has to stick. Just the same. One of them has to stick. Hopefully none of them from Tails, because that does not need to come back. That does not need to come back. All right. So remember, we're sticking with this time segment here. So now we see, we'll get to the good one, where Negan is now in the interrogation room. So he just walked into this area. Now, they seem to be cutting or making changes to how things work, because if you recall, the process is you get put in that trailer area for long periods of time, and then they interrogate you. Remember the interrogators, it was those other 2 people, ask you a bunch of questions, and they send you back. They skip that. They don't even bring those 2 people up. It's like you go straight to Mercer. And I get it. He said he was asking for him, but I don't know. I feel like there should have been some little, at least a scene where we see him at that gate area. And they're like, what do you want? I need to talk to Mercer. Yeah. Who are you? Get on the ground or something. But he does have that conversation with him. And this is where we get some weird teasers here. And this is something that I brought up before we started recording. Is Princess dead? Did something happen to Princess? Because while Mercer is talking to Negan, he's like, why are you here? Is it because of her? And who's her? And we didn't see Princess at all, or no one even mentioned her in this episode. And I don't think he means her as, the report that Connie released in the paper and all the stuff going on with Milton and Sebastian and the girl. I don't think it's that. But he says, you know why I'm here. I'm here because of Daryl and everything that's going on with Hornsby. He's out there running amok in the wastelands. So you need to put a stop to it, and that's why I'm here. So what did you guys gather from that whole interaction in that scene there?
I'm exactly where you are. I have no clue who they were referring to at the beginning. I think they're referring to a woman. I don't know who it was. I really doubt it's Princess, because Negan doesn't really have any interactions with Princess in the past.
But Mercer doesn't know that. He just knows that she's part of the group.
But Daryl did. I mean, but Negan was really candid with him. Like, everything he told him was actual, like, factual stuff that we know from the story. The whole stuff with Daryl and everything. So I don't think anything that Negan mentioned to him was a lie or a manipulation. I feel like he was just straight up with him, and he understood that. But yeah, I have no clue who he was referring to. I doubt it was Princess. I think Princess was just, I don't know, maybe she was still in her vacation when they were filming episode 1. I don't know where she was at. Because she was like noticeably absent, just because Mercer was in the forefront of this episode in a lot of scenes. So yeah, I just found it odd.
Yeah, I just found it odd no one mentioned her. Like when they were talking about later, and we'll get into the Commonwealth segment, and they're talking about all the people in the group, and then saying, all right, how's this person, this one? Then again, they didn't even talk about Eugene. So it could be nothing. It could be nothing. We could watch episode 18 and be like, oh, there it is. All right, no biggie.
Right.
Yeah. I also am on the same page as you both. I don't know who they're referring to. I don't believe that Princess is dead. We know that the last time we saw her, they can't just kill a character like that. No explanation. You never see it happen. The last time we saw her was when she was trying to help Mercer deal with his situation and have a better way of understanding first that there are issues happening at the Commonwealth and then trying to express himself. So that's the last time we saw them, when they had an episode.
Yeah, and they did that.
You know,
they had their moment.
oh yeah, oh yeah. So I think we will get some answers, but I don't think that she's dead.
Yeah, and I looked up online. There's no controversy like she rage quit the show or something like that. I'm like, oh man, she said she's never coming back. Oh, how do we write her off? All right, we'll just say she died. Yeah. So no, it could be nothing. It could be nothing. But the other part of this that threw me off is, well, maybe it shouldn't have thrown me off. You have to get the story moving. They just let Negan into the Commonwealth.
Yeah, there's really no point to having the whole process with Negan just to know what it is. If it just makes sense to just go through.
It's only the only reason why I bring that. It's not so much about the process. It's like, oh, well, you're dwelling too much on. No, it's not that. It's that there's this uprise that's going on in the Commonwealth. So there's already conflict. There's already a lot of drama, a lot of stuff going on. And here it is. Now, Mercer knows that Negan is part of another, the Daryl's group there. And his goal is to get them out. But do you really want to get involved in all that? And it's like, and he goes in there unsupervised. At least provide one soldier with him to make sure things aren't getting too crazy. Because what if he has other motives and he says, you know what, yeah, I'm here for my people, Daryl, yeah, no, okay, go get your people, okay. And then he meets up with the people, like, all right, you got some guns, we're taking over this place. It's like, what if something like that? I don't know. I just that part felt a little too open-ended. So, but it's fine. So they let him in. Before we go, because now we drift off into the Commonwealth, but let's get back to that's it for that part. We have Daryl and Maggie doing some shots to the killing off a lot of the Hornsby crew, and they have a little heart-to-heart with Daryl and Maggie, and he says to the effect of she said, she said, thank you for what you did with what's her name? Oh man, I'm blanking on his ex-girl that he killed. Leah. Yeah, Leah. He's like, yeah, it's all right. I'm sure Glenn would have wanted me to protect you. It's like, yeah, of course. I mean, go ahead.
I just will make a comment. I'm pretty sure that y'all have noticed this. I'm pretty sure anyone that has been watching the show have noticed. They made sure to put a lot of callbacks to stuff that has happened in the previous seasons. And we're probably going to see this for the rest of the season. Because again, yeah, you have the situation like you had Negan wearing the mask. That's a callback. And then when Negan meets up with Maggie, he's like, oh, maybe I should have stayed in the cabin like you told me to. Yeah. And then this here where he's mentioning Glenn. So I think we're going to continue to see that in the next couple episodes.
Even the beginning of the episode, if you guys remember, they showed all these scenes from the past. The rigs and
that was Judith doing the narration for that. Yeah, so they're doing their part, and then they meet up with Aaron again. Now, here's the thing, though. Where did they send Negan's wife? Was she with them? Because I could have swore when they broke off into parts, but then they all get together when they do that funneling of trying to lure Hornsby and the troopers in. Was she part of that group?
Yeah, she was still with Maggie.
She was still with Maggie. Okay.
Yeah.
You're still with Maggie. All right, because they are. So, yeah, they funnel them in, take them out, and then Daryl has the knife to Hornsby's throat. Got him. Right? That's it. We got him. Right? It's over. Yeah, and it was all right. I was expecting a little more from that whole interaction. I don't know, maybe like we saw the car chasing, like maybe something like that. Like he realizes, oh, man, I'm outnumbered. Really, you're not, but you just outmaneuvered. Because they definitely had strength in numbers. But there goes that. He gets caught, and we are done. So what do you think is going to happen with Hornsby? What is Daryl's game here with capturing him?
Go ahead, Carlos. Then I'll go after you.
Okay. I think, and I saw the preview for the next episode. So I saw the small trailer for it. And it seems like they're trying to get in the governor's good graces by turning in Hornsby and letting him be the martyr for all of the atrocities that the Commonwealth is blaming the kid for.
Yep.
So that's exactly how I'm seeing this progressing and the reason why they're doing this. It just, I find it funny that Hornsby like had a big smile when he got caught. He felt like, oh, like you think you have the upper hand, but I think he has something up his sleeve.
Oh, yeah. Of course, because he thinks like they had mentioned that he's just the man, like he runs everything. He was always saying it before that he is the mastermind, and we've heard this before from other characters. They said, well, the governor is the governor, Milton, but the one that pulls all the strings is Hornsby. He's the one that's going out there making the wheeling and dealing with all the other groups, factions to get supplies and things like that. This is the main reason why he was doing what he was doing, because he was trying to say, hey, I can take control of all the outer areas. And this is another reason why I think with the smile is that as much as maybe the showrunners are trying to put us in that mindset of like, oh, Milton's going to hate him, doesn't want anything. I don't think that's the case. Because remember, she even said, well, just don't dirty up the work in the Commonwealth and make sure you stick with these duties that you have. But then, yeah, go ahead, do what you got to do out there. So what does that mean? She said this in last season while in that car ride. So she knows that he plays a dirty game. She knows that he has blood on his hands and other things that he's going to do, but she allows it. So yes, where there's a part where we do see where he's calling for backup, or he was trying to reach out, couldn't get a hold because they're too far out. And then there was another little quick scene where we see one of the guys trying to call out on the radio, and Maggie kills him and destroys the radio and stuff. So we get that, but I think that's where the smile comes in. It's like, what, you're going to hand me over? And she's going to say, all right, this and that. No, then again, he doesn't know all the chaos going on at the Commonwealth with Connie's article. He doesn't know about that. So maybe that could be a factor. He thinks like, oh yeah, go ahead, you're going to try to bring me in. But then remember, he also has his own super spies, his super group. That was the one that was with Eugene that was playing the girlfriend and all that. Right? We got all of those other people that are, I don't know. We got the rebel group. And I know there's the ones
that are trying to Home Alone and kidnap the kids right now.
Yeah. It's like, are they part of his thing? I don't think so. But then we do know he has another operation of spies that work there and do their own thing. So I don't know. He definitely has another play in mind. So we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. So there goes that part. So then now we jump into the Commonwealth. And who is the attorney for Milton? Who's the attorney? Carlos. Go. Say it.
Yumiko.
Yumiko. You said it because I can't. Yumiko, right? But we get into it. So now, if you recall, there was Connie had the information, the dirt on everything. She knew all the stuff about Sebastian sending people to that house that had money, and this is what he was doing, and he sent people to die, didn't care. She writes it all up, and it's out there. And so we see people in the street protesting, screaming. They want Sebastian. Milton is in her office using an intercom brainwashing system, just talking, calm down. You don't know the story. My son's a good boy. I was like, what? It was kind of funny. You know, and Yumiko is there, and she's talking about the whole thing. And it's like, oh, don't worry about this. We'll figure it out. And she's got plans. And I don't know. Before I go any further, just that view. We saw a lot. We saw a lot of people on set. It's been a while. Since we've seen them. We get it because of all the stuff going on with COVID and restrictions. And they even had showrunners last season said due to COVID protocols, they had to reduce the amount of people and extras on set. And this was an all CG. People were like, well, maybe they CG'd everybody. Yeah, they do that for the walkers, and we saw that later on. But this looked like a lot of legit people. I paused it a few times, and I saw different type of people walking, holding signs. They had a lot of extras there. So you definitely get this community vibe. And I bring this up because at least in the comics, and I think they did mention it here, there's over like 15,000 people in the Commonwealth. It's a large group. This isn't like when we had the governor from season 2, where that's like a small town setting. This is huge. This is very huge. So it was great to see they tried to emphasize that and show the scale by having all these people in the crowd. It seems like for the majority of the people, they're all on the side of like down with Sebastian, down with the governor. I was expecting to see some people on the opposite side, like, hey, we're pro, don't worry, we got your back, Milton. We didn't see that. We didn't see that. And not even with the troopers, we didn't see any of that stuff. So I don't know. Before I go any further, what did you guys think of that opening scene in the Commonwealth part with the crowd and Milton?
Well, I think there had to be some type of payoff as far as what happened with Connie's story. It escalated rather quickly because we learned about this rebel group last, in the second half of the season, I believe it was. So I thought it made sense for it to escalate to this level because, again, and I know that you had made a comment earlier that maybe it's a little like it feels like they rushed Negan getting into the Commonwealth. But I think this was the perfect distraction so that he could get in and not have to go through the regular protocols that everyone normally has to go through. So yeah. I thought it made sense for sure. It's definitely believable as far as what happened.
It's just it just pushes the side of like with Mercer that he's definitely siding with that group. Just so that we know his relationship with Princess, and I'm sure that's playing a part. But then he also sees how things are just crumbling around him. Remember last season, he saw his second in command. He was corrupt and all that stuff, and all the other people are corrupt. And even his sister was like saying, "Whose side are you on? What are you doing?" And he was like, "I'm just doing my job, doing it to protect you because things are rough out there." And she's like, "Yeah, but you're not helping. Milton's horrible. The son is horrible." So we definitely see a lot of that, and we see that Negan is there, as you mentioned, and he sees all this stuff. He's like, what the hell is happening? But then we get a part with Carol. So we see that the kids, so people wanting to know where's Judith and AJ and Rick Jr. and the daughter, Aaron's daughter. And what are they doing? Well, Carol, she's babysitting, but she's babysitting at Daryl's place. And we only know that because she looks out the window and she can see all the protesters, but she sees some guys, and that's what I'm saying. These are people that they work for Hornsby. Yeah. They're not Milton's people, and this is part of that spy group that he has. And they're looking up at the apartment there, and she's like, all right, something's going down. So she tells the kids to hide it, and then she goes out on the windowsill. That was kind of funny. I was like, all right, well, whatever. But they go in there and they start searching around, and they're like, oh, they're not here. And so now we know that the plan is they want to, and maybe that's the other play with Hornsby, because when he has a knife just stole it, we keep bringing up the smile. Well, we could add this on the bulletin board there. It's like maybe he's smiling because like, hey, I got my people who are going to go and have your kid, or your kids from the group, and I'm going to use that as leverage. So maybe that's the other play that he's going to, because he's done that before when he talked about it. And he was like, oh, I think it was Mercer. One of them had talked about it. It's like, hey, look, think of your kids, think of the life that they're having right now, fall in line type of thing. So maybe that's it. So that whole thing happens, but then she realizes, all right, things are getting crazy. So she gets Jerry to help. Well, more like Jerry bumps into Negan out on the street. It's like, hey, what are you doing here? I was like, oh, well, this is what's going on. We got to get the group out of here. We got to figure out, we got to get everybody together. So Jerry brings Negan over to Carol, and they have that little reunion, and he says that little remark you said, maybe I should have stayed in the shed. Things are crazy. And that shed was the whole thing with Alpha being killed after the head rolling and all that. But she agrees. So look, they have to work together at this point. Right? They realize things are getting crazy. She said they sent some guys out there to get them. So I guess she knew some, and this is great planning on her part. She knew at some point things were going to hit the fan. So she said, Jerry, hey, do we have that attic space with the supplies? And he's like, yep, it's all ready. All right. He's like, all right, take the kids there. Right. And I'm going to go and do some other stuff. There's some other things they have to take care of. So before I go any further, that little intro, just understanding what's going on, all this makes sense. Everybody's cool with this.
I do want to mention something that I noticed when it was pretty cool when Jerry was walking with the kids throughout the crowd. He was sort of alerting the crowd of what to do. He's like, "Yo, hook,
we'll get to that. Well, that was it. Then we'll get to him because once he does, we'll just do it then. Yeah, when he does go outside, they all know there's that whole group. Ezekiel's there. He's in the crowd. They're all in on it. Because remember, Ezekiel had his own group of people that he was protecting and taking care of that are also against the governor. So once he realizes that he's being tailed, because he can see that one of the spy guys is following him and notices him with the kids, he just tells some of the guys next to him, he's like, hey, we're being tailed. And then they just build like a wall. They become very solid and like protesting. And that gives Jerry and the kids enough time to escape that area, pull down a fire escape, climb up, and then hide for a little bit. And they threw a little tension there where the guy shows up just when the ladder gets pulled up. He's about to leave and some dust falls down on him. And he looks up and he doesn't see anything. I was like, oh, maybe it's nothing. And da-da-da. So that was cool. Now, the person looking down, that's not Jerry's wife, right? That was in the window?
I just when I saw it, I just assumed they were just a random person.
It was just a random person.
Random.
That was just a random. Yeah, because I was like, wait a minute, because he was like, oh, I need some help here. I was like, oh, is that? Because remember, he's going to the attic. This is a safe room, so I wasn't sure if that was her, and she was already in the safe room, preparing it, because they had a plan. This is in case things fall apart. This is where we're gonna go. But
at the moment, we don't know where Jerry's wife and kids are, so they're underused for sure. But
their background, they never played a part.
But no, that lady was definitely not his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's been a while. So there goes that part. When we head back to Milton, she's trying to calm down the situation with the crowd, and that's where Yumiko gets involved, tells everybody, listen, we got to calm this down. We understand what's going on. We don't know where he is, and we're going to figure this out. Just trying to diffuse the situation. But at the same time, we have one of the announcers for the Commonwealth talking about how there's a lockdown, and that's the name of the episode, because we got walkers coming. They're making so much damn noise that a horde is headed their way, and that's when we get another pan out that it's not just random talk of a horde coming, so that way they can just get everybody indoors to disperse. No, there really is a large horde that's headed toward them now. I don't recall seeing that horde in the season finale of the last episode. Was it there?
It looks like this was just something that was part of the governor's tricks to sort of control the crowd.
That's right. Yep. But in my head, though, I'm filling it in that because these people are so loud and they're making so much noise that's attracting a horde that was probably further out. Because later on, when we hear Rosita talking with Mercer, it's like, wait, how did they get this far? And it was like, oh, they just overran all the groups. There was the troops that we had in different checkpoints. They're just too many.
Mercer's being played too. That's the thing. Yeah. Mercer's being played, so they're all ignorant towards what the governor and her faction can actually do. And
but one of the things that we do know is that Milton, the governor, she did not know where her son was. She had no idea. She really didn't know. And did she believe any of this stuff? Don't know. She blames Connie for all of this. She's like, hey, this is your friend. Do you agree? And Yumiko's like, no, I don't think she would have done that, which is bullshit. Come on now. I say, well, of course, come on now. But she won't leave because we see she has a little conversation with Magna. Right, that was her girlfriend who's in the Commonwealth there, and she was like, "I'm not. Are you going to leave when the time comes?" Like, no, I can't leave because her brother is still there. So she gives that whole little conversation, which is interesting that they threw that scene in there, which means that the brother's going to play a part.
I think it means that, but I also think it means to let the viewers know everybody is not going to survive the rest of the season. So don't be surprised if there's some people that get killed off.
But is anybody going to be upset if the brother dies? I mean,
only Yumiko's going to be upset, and yes, the brother's definitely going to die.
the brother is a surgeon and also a cook, a baker. So I think the people who like his food are going to be very disappointed if he doesn't make it.
Right. Well, the last we saw, I thought he was working with Ezekiel, helping him out, helping those people.
Yeah, he was. Yep.
Yeah, they smuggled him into the place.
They smuggled him over there. I don't know if he ever came out or whatever. No one talks about. No one talks about. All right, so we got that part during the whole before. Yeah, I sort of jumped in it, but there was one part with Rosita where Milton was looking out and she noticed that she was part of the group, and Mercer was also there and noticed she was part of the group, and he's like suit up. And this is important to bring this part up because she eventually does suit up, and they go out to address the horde. And she says, "I'm here to help you with this, but not with what's going on in the Commonwealth. I'm not fighting my people and my family. That's separate business. But I'll kill as many walkers as you want. That's cool with me." And he respects that, and he even says, "Hey, when the time comes, I'll help you get out. You know, when you need to leave."
Yeah,
which sort of throws me off with that. It's like, really, you don't think about fixing the problem. You think about just avoiding it with him. It's like, especially with everything that he knows and what his sister had said. It's like he's not filling her in. Rosita saying, "Hey, listen, maybe you won't have to leave. I get it. Things are bad back there, but maybe we can work together on fixing it." No, it's like, well, when the time comes, you guys got to go, you know, and then we'll go back to the way it is with just an annoying little brat who gets to do everything. And I just have to follow him around like a puppet. And it just, I don't know. I was expecting more from his response instead of just saying, "Well, when you need help, we'll let you go." Again, that would have been a great point, a little segment there just to bring up Princess, right? Just say, "Hey, well, Princess is going to stay with me. We're going to reproduce and start a new life here." No, no, he doesn't bring that up. Doesn't bring up Princess. There's no mention of Princess.
He's like, "Well, if one Spanish chick got to leave, then I'm keeping the other one."
Exactly. I have my Goya, oh boy. So listen, so now we hear on the radio. There's what is it? One of the cars flipped over. I guess they fell in a ditch. I mean, are they really panicking? Oh, it just bothers me, but whatever. And so they rush over there. They're fighting some walkers. They try to get one of the guys to jump in the truck. This is where we get a gore scene. The walkers grab him, and they're like both pulling on this guy, and he just rips.
So can I just make a comment here? For me, this was a comical scene because what the hell did Mercer think he was going to achieve to actually successfully pull the guy and then continue to pull him when you see he's really being ripped to shreds? It just was comical to see that because it's like, come on, in common sense. There's a whole bunch of walkers. Just leave him and just.
They already got him. They already had him. That was the thing. It was like 94% of his body was already all covered by walkers. It was just his arm that was free. I'm like, I'm sorry. If there's a shark attack and my buddy, half his body is in the shark, I'm not like, "Give me your hand." It's not gonna happen. I'm sorry. I'm like, "Yo, I will tell your family you love them. I will tell them that." You know, that's it. That's as far as it goes.
Give me your dog tag right now.
Exactly. Oh, they don't even have dog tags. They just got their motocross suits on. That's all they have. So
yeah, I also found that a little bit funny. But also, going back to what we talked about earlier, the way that I mean, they only have to do one thing when they're in that herd of things. Just don't get surrounded by the walkers. You just take a couple of steps back. Once you get close to them, take a couple of steps back. Don't get surrounded by them. You're good. But they kept getting surrounded, and I don't know how the hell they turned that
range weapons. They have rifles.
Well, the Jeep too. It flipped over. How the hell do you do that?
They don't. Like I said before, they don't know how to drive, and they fell in the ditch. Because don't tell me the walkers tipped that thing over. Don't tell me they got close enough that they like heave. Oh, no.
Perhaps they were not as prepared for the situation as they thought they would be when it actually happened.
And it's all Mercer's fault because he's supposed to be the commander. That he trained them poorly.
Well, that and I think the writers want to emphasize, oh yeah, this hurt is a really big issue here, so we need to make them overpowered and just completely take over the entire scene.
This would have been a great way. I know they don't want to do this type of crossover yet because they got to have something special for the other one. But man, this would have been awesome to see some running walkers, right? Let's scratch. If they would have did that pan shot, and it's like, yeah, things are different right now. There's a horde, but some of them are moving fast, and then they just have that overhead drone shot and just see some of them sprinting it like Olympic style. I would have lost my mind. Well,
if that scene happened, I don't think that Mercer or Rosita will still be alive.
they probably would be, because my person would think, you know what pedal to the metal. Remember, we have our car, and then just see one just like running, just like a jaguar, like going nuts, and then just grab onto the back and just get dragged, and there's your gore scene. You just get shreds, and he's still holding. And then they finally get there, and it's just like two arms just holding onto this. See, I need to start writing some scripts for this show. I need to start writing some scripts, because there's ways you can do this at a low cost. I'm not talking about crazy special effects.
Here comes Tales of the Walking Dead Part 2.
Get back into writing. That's what I need to do. I'll just keep sending them a bunch of treatments, and eventually I'll get a call back saying, "Hey, you free?" The answer is yes, I'm free. Let's do it. All right. So there goes that. I think that was the last that we see of Mercer and Rosita. Right? That was it. We saw that part with the ripping, and then poof, we don't see them come back. I'm trying to think. I think that was it. Now that I think about it, because we don't see Carol. Oh no, we do. Sorry. That's right. This is the last part of it. This is the last part. Is that we see that where Carol had to go, and now she says she's doing this as reassurance. She had to have a card in her pocket, and this is the card that she goes to where they keep all the documents, because I think she said Jerry had access to this. Or who was it? Someone had access to it. Maybe it was Jerry. But it makes no sense, because then Jerry was with the kids. But I remember her saying something that access to some room with documents. And it looks like she finds the document of that was the room of that rebel guy, right? Wasn't that his place? Whose place? Where she found Sebastian is because she found an address that was in the document. And I thought that was from the rebel guy who got killed. And that's where he was hiding out. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what it looked like. It looked like she knew the address. So she went over there, and sure enough, she finds she was with Negan. That's right. She was with Negan. Then they find Sebastian sleeping on the bed. Like, what do you want? Do you know who I am? And he was like, do you know who I am? Clearly you don't. And again, there's no Lucille. There's no bat there, but it would have been a great scene. It's just like, you know who I am, and have the bat, and it's like dripping with gook, and it smells like hot garbage because he never cleans it. So, and some of it like drips in on Sebastian's face, and it's like dripping down. Like, what? Like that. I was like, who are you? I'm Batman. Or something like that. It would have been cool, but no. He grabs him, and he's like, "You're coming with us?" Like, no, I'm staying here until things die down. And he was like, "Well, if she throws you a lifeline," and he gives a whole little speech, saying, "Oh, I've never seen her do that." Blah, 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 blah. It's like that wasn't needed. He should have just roughed him up. I would have just shut him up. And old school Negan in the comics would have just said, "Oh, well, if I smack him around a little bit, you're coming with us. Mm-hmm. We're gonna put an end to all of this. Shut your mouth." Because he's talking about my mom doesn't care about me, and it's like, we don't care about you. Forget about your mom. The viewers don't care about you. No one does. Negan could have killed him right there in that room, and I'm like, all right, that's fine. Just move on. But and that was the other thing. I thought maybe at some point, I don't think it would have happened here, but it would have been cool if we would have saw something like that. Because Dead or Alive, at least he's brought to justice, and now would have ended the riot. But that doesn't continue the story. So. They then go back. We see the next scene is that they're back in Milton's office. This is Carol, Negan, and we see Sebastian there. So Carol comes in and then brings in Sebastian, and we got Yumiko's there with Milton, and Milton runs over and gives Sebastian a big hug and then a smack. Like, how dare you? Look at all this drama. You go, but I love you. That whatever. And that's when Carol was like, well, now we need something. Like, well, why do I need you? And the whole thing. And then that's when she says, I work for Hornsby. She's part of that spy agency, that Hornsby has. And he's out there running amok. He's doing all kinds of stuff that she doesn't know about. And so now it has her question, but that's it, right? Unless I'm missing something. That was the end of that segment. She doesn't say, Milton doesn't reply to any of that stuff after.
No, she. It seems like the whole Hornsby stuff, because Hornsby is doing his own faction stuff, and I don't think even Milton knows about all this. And now that she finds that out, she has a scapegoat to put all this blame in, and she definitely is not going to use her kid to do it. So that's where Hornsby comes. But it's gonna be a thing to see, because I always feel like Hornsby's got something up his sleeve. He always had that weird ass smirk. But
we have to have, and maybe I'm being too hopeful, but we have to have a swerve. We have to have a swerve. Again, like I mentioned, the way the writers have been putting this season together, or even from last season leading to this season, is that they are of two minds. Milton and what she wants to do with the Commonwealth, and what Hornsby wants, right? He's got his spy group. He wants to take over the outside areas and do that all the. But I have a feeling that they're really in cahoots. Milton has to do a swerve on everyone, and when they bring him in, Hornsby and Daryl's like, see, we caught him, and look, this is what's going on, and now we can put an end. And here's a combination of things, because yes, is this going to calm the rioters that are out there all upset? I don't think so, really, because Sebastian did do a lot of bad things. So I don't know if that's going to solve it, but bringing Hornsby in, I just have a feeling that Milton is going to look and be like, oh, you screwed up. You couldn't get the job done. Troops! And then they're all going to go and grab Daryl and everybody else and do that type of thing. Up against the wall, or something like that. We have to see that dark side, because right now, we don't see that. We don't see that from Milton. We see it as more of like she's sort of thinks she's in control, but then she's not. Her son is doing all these horrible things. Don't tell me she's had a complete blind eye to all of that, because you can see he was like a spoiled brat causing all kinds of problems. And we, just from that one scene last season in the car, when they were heading back with Hornsby and Milton, she was telling him, well, make sure you still stick with all your Commonwealth duties, but I don't care about all the rest. So she knows. She knows. And I think it's just going to play a bigger part, which is going to lead to more chaos, because it can't be this simple of like, all right, we caught Hornsby, we're going to bring him in, Milton's going to see it for what it is, and the group, and everything's going to be peaceful now. Now we got this guy who's causing all these issues out of the way, and we'll capture all his spies, and that's it. Because that was the other thing with Carol. Carol is like, oh yeah, I'm going to tell you everything that Hornsby's doing, because look, now they're trying to take the kids from her, and these are Daryl's kids, and then all that other stuff, and Aaron. But there's got to be more to it. There's got to be more. So,
and we will find out pretty soon, because for those that have AMC Plus, episode 2, I'm hearing is going to become available pretty soon.
18, yeah. Well. Yeah, we won't want to spoil that, but But let's just stick with this one for the people. So all the people, one. But man, this was it was a doozy. There was some good information. There was some pointless stuff, but overall, it's moving the story. It's definitely moving the story. We have these groups now connecting at the Commonwealth. We haven't seen what's up with Eugene and what's his plans and all that. We don't know what's going on with Princess and that situation. In fact, I think I don't remember. It's been a while, but wasn't Princess with Eugene? Didn't they sneak into the dude's apartment?
Oh, they were working together.
They were doing that little. They had that spy scene where they were trying to do all that stuff. But
they had to get into a fight or something. Also, I forgot.
Either way, it's we'll find out more. But overall, this wasn't a bad episode. There wasn't a lot of filler here. They were really getting to the point and trying to keep this story moving. We talked about this before, and I'm sure it's a letdown for a lot of people that are really into Walking Dead, that follow all the news, we know of all the spinoffs, which means we know of all the people that will survive. I wish I didn't know that. I'm sure the casuals who are just coming back to watching The Walking Dead because they know, hey, it's coming to an end, don't know of all the spinoffs. So I'm sure they're like nail biting, like, oh no, who's gonna die? Oh no, Negan. Oh no, Daryl. You know what I mean? But we know that's not a thing. And of course, then the big elephant in the room is, where's Rick and Michonne? We know they're coming. We've seen the shots of them filming on set. We know all that stuff. Then again, that could be just for their spinoff show. But I think it's a no-brainer to guess that they will show up at some point in this, and probably to save the day, right? Because in my mind, I picture this is going to be a big brawl, and we're going to see Michonne with Rick. She found him. Remember, that was her end goal. She was like Kung Fu. She was out on a mission. I'm going to find my husband. And she went and she found him. That's what I'm thinking. She's going to say she found him. He's fine. He's with the Republic. They're all happy, living somewhere in Alaska. I don't know. But they're definitely going to have to play a part with the Pacific Republic, because those are the ones that picked up Rick. So you can't have Rick just show up and not bring that part of the story into the play, and that doesn't really.
Well,
you think so? Well.
I will say this: we discussed this during text, maybe like today or yesterday. Just the whole thing about when Rick and Michonne are going to be introduced. Are they going to be introduced midway through the season C finale? Are they going to be introduced the last quarter, the last episode? We don't know. The whole thing with that faction is it depends if they don't have enough time, if they're going to introduce Rick and Michonne back to the story in the last episode or the last two episodes. It's just going to be too much. My guess is they will be sort of mentioned, but they'll be more pivotal part of some of the spinoffs, or one of the spinoffs. And I think that's how they'll carry on with that. But as far as this season or this mothership, I don't think they're going to be too big of a factor.
We have to see RJ and Judith. They have to reunite with the parents. We have to get that. I think people are not Rick Jr. We have to see them reunite. Yeah, we have to see them reunite with the parents at some point, because
we'll definitely see that. I agree.
Well, we won't yet, and I'm telling you right now, and not for foreseeing or I've seen anything or read anything, no, but there's no way we're not going to get oh wow, here's a cure for this virus that's been turning people into walkers. We're definitely not getting that. I don't ever see that becoming a thing in any of these episodes. It's going to keep going. They'll never get it, because some people are like, well, they hinted it was their first season, right? The Doctor, remember the Doctor, and then they scrapped it, never went back to that.
Well, I mean, I don't think we're definitely not going to get a cure, but what we are going to get is something that is even worse, and those are runners. Mm-hmm. So it's like it's quite the opposite.
Yeah, well, you know what? Now you think about that, you bring that up. I could see that popping up toward the end of this, just so they can plant that seed to, hey, here's something to look forward to. These walkers have now mutated over the years.
I wouldn't be surprised if the show ended with a nuke.
Because they had the nuke. Yeah, they'll bring a combination, and then we see some of the Fear cast members show up, which isn't going to happen because they're lost. We don't even know where the Fear guys are. They're on a boat somewhere. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see what happens when that one comes back. But overall, I'm excited. Walking Dead is back. We'll see where their story progresses. We'll see how these characters make their way through, and the part with the Commonwealth. Does the Commonwealth stay the Commonwealth under new leadership, or does Milton keep controlling and takes the side of the group? Which I don't see that happening. There's no story there. All right, people. So we will be back next week for episode 18. So thanks again for supporting us on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and all other places. Just thanks, of course, to Koalition.com. We have interviews. We got Dana Abercrombie always interviewing all these cast members and stuff. So if you want to find out more information, you can always check the site out and find all that stuff. And that's it, people. We will talk to you next week. Peace.